What's up, everybody? Hope everyone is doing good. See, it's been like a couple weeks since I've been on here. I just kind of had to take a break for a while. I kind of been just going through like a phase here in the past. Really, it's been like the last few months of just being burned out. And that's what I want to talk about today. I feel like a lot of people experience like a big burnout, and that to me, there's probably not anybody that's ever lived that has not experienced that. Just a lot of stress, anxiety, and then when you get real burned out like that, I mean, you feel like a zombie, or at least I do. And you get real depressed because you don't have no freaking energy. You're tired all the damn time. You're sleeping too much or you're not sleeping enough. In my case, I want to freaking sleep all the time, and you can't get anything done really sleeping like that, and it's not. I don't think it's healthy. I have a hard time going literally like one day without a freaking nap, and like I always get sleepy in the middle of the day. Once it gets like 2 p.m., it's like I can barely hold my freaking eyes open. And I've kind of been thinking about maybe going to see like a sleep doctor or something, because it's just like, my God, it irritates the hell out of me because I don't want to be sleepy. But a lot of that honestly is my fault, because I have not been letting myself really rest as much as I should. And I feel like a lot of people are like that. They don't let themselves rest as much as they should. It all boils down to self-care, self-love, all that stuff. You have to put yourself first, your health, your physical health, your mental health, spiritual health, whatever is most important to you. I really try to focus on all three of those as much as possible. It's very important to me. And also, like my relationships, my marriage, keeping that healthy. But I've kind of been neglecting myself for a while, and I should have known better, because I have been in these phases so many times in my life, because I freaking overwork myself, and it's like every time I never learn my lesson. Like, I don't know why I'm so hard-headed. It's like I feel like I'm just invincible. Oh, I can do it. Oh, this is no big deal. Knowing, I know deep down what the consequence is going to turn out to be, but I still do it anyways. It's so self-destructive, self-sabotage. It's definitely a habit, a cycle I got to break out of, because I'm just wearing myself thin. But a lot of people do that. It's very, very common to people. They have so much on their plate that they try to take on too much, including myself. And you get to a point to where your body, your mind, I mean, you get wore out, that you can't keep up with stuff anymore. And in my case, y'all, I love doing YouTube. It's something that I've always been very passionate about, and I've always put a lot into it. But it also takes work to do this kind of stuff. It takes a lot of mental energy, because you have to come up with the topic to talk about. Then you have to actually, of course, record the video, and then you upload it, and you sit and stress out about how many views you're going to get. Are you going to earn any income off of this video? Blah, blah, blah. So, it'll take something out of you. And on top of that, of course, I work full time, and my job is not easy. I do physical labor full time for a living. I do construction. And on top of that, we go to different job sites. We don't work in the same place every day. And, the jobs that I work at with the company that I'm at, I have to drive a long ways, because I live in a very, very small town, and there's really just no jobs around. And, I need to make money. I have to make good money to pay my bills in order, I want me and my husband to live a good life. And, you need money a lot of times for that. So I want to be able to provide the best I can. So, that's just something that I need to do. I mean, y'all, I drive about 5 hours a day total, going to work and then coming back. So by the time all day for 8 hours, I'm on my feet. I come home, I'm absolutely filthy, covered and wore out. And this summer, y'all, has been brutal down south, especially in South Carolina. I mean, it's gotten well over 100 degrees so many days, and it's so humid on top of that. It's like walking through, it's like the air feels almost like water walking through it, because the humidity is so dense. And it makes it feel even hotter. I mean, we work outside in like dangerous heat levels. A lot of times we work out in heat levels that we shouldn't be working in. But, you know, we got to get stuff done, got to make money. And actually, but although I do enjoy my job, I really do. You know, I've never really wanted to leave or anything. It gets tiring. You know, and then on top of that, trying to go to the gym, you know, I try to go to the gym as much as possible. I actually really like going to the gym. I love exercise. I love working out. So, you know, doing that, trying to take care of myself as much as I can. And then on top of that, doing YouTube. And on top of that, just, you know, typical common house chores. And trying to make sure I spend time with my family and making time to go to church. You know, it's just life. That's how it is. But, you know, it's up to us to take on what we feel. Not necessarily, we don't need to take on an amount that we're like, you know, oh, that is a lot, but I can get it done. We need to look at it as, oh, you know, that's an amount that I can take on in a healthy way that's not going to wear me out, that's not going to burn me out, that's not going to make me feel like crap, you know, later on down the road. Because it's like, you know, when you start doing something new, you start a new hobby, you know, it's fun. You get a very, you know, you have a good time doing it. You want to do it more and more and more and keep going because you found something that you love to do, you know, but then you put so much into it that there comes a time that, you know, what you used to love to do, you don't quite love as much anymore, because you've kind of overdone it. You've overworked yourself. And that has been the case with me. I have a lot of hobbies, y'all. I'm a very hobby-oriented person. I love to learn. I love to learn new stuff, and I'm always trying to do that. But it's just I've gotten to the point that the things that I once enjoyed doing, they're feeling kind of blah now. They're not what they used to be, and it's kind of got me down in like a funk, I guess. But, you know, I just know at this point in my life, I don't want to continue to live doing that because, you know, y'all, I'm not an old man or anything. Hell, I'm still young. I'm only 30. I mean, I'm about to be 31 next month. So, you know, I'm still young, but I am still getting older every day. And there's going to come a point in time, if I live that long, that, you know, I'm going to get too old really to do a lot of stuff that I used to do. I'm just not going to have the stamina to do it, or, you know, maybe not even have the mental abilities to do stuff, you know, if I get something that affects my brain or memory or whatever. So it's like, you know, I look at that and that scares the hell out of me. And so I sit and think, you know, oh, well, I'm young now, you know, I really want to do all these things. I want to travel here. I want to travel there. I want to meet this person. I want to accomplish this. I want to make this amount of money. And, you know, I'm always working so hard towards those goals. And I know a lot of us are. It's not just me. A lot of us want to do good in life. But there comes a point that it's like you have to slow down. You know, you have to be like, is this actually good for me at this point? Because, you know, I'm scared of getting in a condition to where I can't do stuff anymore. But it's like, at the same time, me trying to push myself to do this much is going to get me there faster. And, you know, a lot of times I used to never really think about that, but it kind of hit me one day, and it's like, you know, I'm just driving myself crazy. I'm just wearing myself out. I'm aging myself. You know, I'm aging myself faster than what I would age if I actually took care of myself and really gave myself time to, you know, to rest and to take care of myself and to just relax. You know, I have a hard freaking time relaxing. I always have. It's like my mind goes 100 miles an hour every freaking day of my life. And, you know, I've always struggled with mental health problems. You know, I've been diagnosed for years. God, probably years and years, maybe probably about a decade now with bipolar disorder, specifically type 2. So, you know, I have a funky brain. I was not blessed with a healthy brain at all. So I have to make sure that I take extra care of myself, and I have not been doing that lately. So, you know, I feel like I really need to step back and to rest, relax, and just let myself recover from the burnout that, you know, I have gotten myself into. It is my fault. You know, were my intentions bad? Absolutely not. You know, I just want to do good. I want to enjoy life. I just got so much that I want to accomplish, but you know, I have to remember that I'm human and that I can only do so much, because to me, when I don't get something done that I want to do, it's like I feel like I'm lazy, and that is just such an insult to me, to be called lazy. I don't know why, But really, if you think about it, everybody can be lazy sometimes. Everybody has days where they're not going to perform as well as they did, during other days. That's, being human. But it's like I have a hard time accepting that. On the days that I don't really feel my best and didn't get as much done, it's like I beat myself up to hell and back over it. And I make myself feel like crap instead of just going easy on myself and reminding myself that this is normal. So guys, this video right here is for anyone who feels the same way I do, that feels just freaking tired all the time, wore out, that isn't taking the time for themselves that they need in order to live a very healthy life and just feel good. Nobody wants to go through life feeling bad, and I certainly don't want to be doing it to myself if I can help it. I want to make sure I give myself the best quality of life possible, and I think we all do. Nobody wants to feel bad. Hell, at least I don't, and the people in my family don't. So, and also I think about them as like, am I being there for my husband, stepkids, for my in-laws, for my parents, brother, nieces? Am I being the person that I can be for them? Is me pushing myself to the limit and feeling like a zombie all the time, does that make me there for my family more? And it does not. Absolutely not. It takes away time from them. It takes away from things I could be doing with them. So it's time to relax, take a step back and just chill out. So guys, please take care of yourself, love yourself, and just remember you're human. You're not going to accomplish every single tiny little thing every day. I mean, you're going to have bad days. You're going to have more than bad days. You're going to have bad weeks. You're going to have bad months. You're going to have bad years. And that is just the honest to God truth. It may not be what you want to hear, because I certainly did not want to hear it. That sounds horrible, but it's what we do with those bad times really that counts and makes us who we are. So guys, thank y'all so much. I'm gonna post as much as I can because I love doing this, but when I try to make a video and I'm not feeling my best, they suck. I get on here and it's like my thoughts are not coherent. I cannot talk about correctly what I want to talk about. I just feel so scattered. And those videos, it's almost like people can pick up on that energy like that, and they don't do as good. So, I want to make sure I do the best I can on YouTube and give the best content I can. All right, guys, thank y'all so much for watching this video. I will be back probably, just whenever really I'm feeling like I can make a good, decent video. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you for the support. I want my channel to continue to grow, and maybe that will lead me to new opportunities in life to really excel. So guys, thank y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful week, and I will see y'all soon. Bye guys.